Imagine a world where your online identity was meticulously curated, not by algorithms, but by your own hands. A digital kingdom ruled by animated GIFs, glitter text, and the sacred top 8 friends list. This wasn't some forgotten corner of the early internet. This was MySpace, the undisputed king of social media, until its sudden, inexplicable collapse. What really happened to MySpace, and why did it vanish almost overnight, leaving behind only the ghosts of neon-colored profiles and forgotten music? The truth is far stranger than you might think. To understand the magnitude of MySpace's fall, we first need to appreciate its unparalleled reign. Launched in 2003 by co-founders Tom Anderson and Chris DeWolf, MySpace quickly became the central hub of online social interaction. By 2006, it was the most visited website in the United States, surpassing even Google. It wasn't just a social network, it was a cultural phenomenon. Teenagers spent hours perfecting their profile layouts with custom HTML and CSS, choosing the perfect song to autoplay upon a visitor's arrival, and agonizing over their top 8, a public declaration of their closest allies. This level of customization fostered a deeply personal connection for users, a sense of ownership over their digital space that few platforms have replicated since. But MySpace's appeal ran deeper than just personal expression. It was a launching pad for a generation of musicians and artists. Bands could bypass traditional gatekeepers, uploading their demos directly to their profile, building a fan base, and interacting with listeners in real time. Little-known artists became overnight sensations simply because their song autoplayed on thousands of profiles. This organic grassroots discovery mechanism was revolutionary. Many of today's biggest music stars, from Adele to Arctic Monkeys, honed their craft and found their first audiences on MySpace. It was a digital Wild West, a chaotic but incredibly vibrant tapestry of interconnected lives, media, and raw self-expression. News Corporation, sensing its immense potential, acquired MySpace in 2005 for a staggering $580 million. At its peak, MySpace boasted over 100 million active users, an unimaginable number at the time, and was valued in the billions. It seemed invincible, an unshakable pillar of the internet. Yet, beneath the glittering surface, cracks were forming. The first warning sign appeared in 2006, when News Corp struck a massive advertising deal with Google worth $900 million over 3 years. While financially lucrative, this deal mandated a strict advertising framework that stifled MySpace's unique user experience. Suddenly, personalized pages were cluttered with generic Google ads, disrupting the very aesthetic and freedom that users cherished. The focus began to shift from user experience to revenue generation, a common pitfall for rapidly growing platforms. Then came the security issues. MySpace was notorious for spam, phishing attempts, and a general lack of robust moderation. Many users, particularly parents, grew concerned about the safety of the platform. But these early cracks were minor compared to the seismic shift that was about to occur. A new, sleeker social network, Facebook, was emerging from college campuses, offering a cleaner interface, a more curated network, and crucially, a perceived sense of privacy and exclusivity that MySpace lacked. While MySpace championed freedom and customization, Facebook emphasized genuine identity and a more controlled environment. MySpace leadership, perhaps blinded by their own success, largely dismissed Facebook as a niche platform for students. They were wrong. As Facebook opened its doors to the general public in late 2006, its growth exploded. Users began to migrate, Tired of MySpace's increasingly clunky interface, relentless spam, and the feeling that the platform had lost its initial charm under News Corp's management. MySpace tried to compete, introducing new features, but they were often poorly executed and felt like desperate catch-ups. The unique sense of community began to fray as friends scattered across platforms. It was a slow, agonizing bleed, but the most devastating blow was yet to come. A blow that would erase years of digital history and solidify MySpace's place in the annals of internet failures. The real, truly shocking, and almost criminal aspect of MySpace's collapse came years later in 2011, long after its glory days had faded. By this point, MySpace was a digital ghost town, having been sold by News Corp to Specific Media for a fraction of its former value. A mere $35 million, it was a shell of its former self, a relic of a bygone era. However, it still held something incredibly valuable: cultural data, and most importantly, an unparalleled archive of user-uploaded music. Millions of songs, many of them by unsigned artists, indie bands, and aspiring musicians, lived exclusively on MySpace profiles. These weren't just files, they were pieces of history, artistic expressions, and the beginnings of countless careers. In 2011, MySpace made the disastrous decision to migrate its music data as part of a site overhaul. What was intended to be a seamless transfer of files quickly spiraled into an unprecedented digital catastrophe. For years, the official story was vague, with MySpace acknowledging a server migration issue that resulted in some data loss. But in 2019, nearly 8 years after the incident, the true scale of the disaster was finally revealed. MySpace officially admitted that during the 2011-2015 migration, all user-uploaded music files from 2015 and earlier, comprising approximately 50 million songs from 14 million artists, had been permanently lost, not corrupted, not misplaced, but utterly and irrecoverably deleted. A vast treasury of independent music, years of creative work, the sonic memories of a generation, simply vanished into the digital ether. This wasn't just a technical glitch, it was an act of digital vandalism on an epic scale, a mass cultural erasure that went largely unnoticed by the general public until the official admission years later. Imagine meticulously crafting your art for years, uploading it to a platform you trusted, only for it to be silently wiped from existence with no backup, no explanation, and no apology until long after the fact. For many musicians, these were the only existing copies of their early work, their first steps into the music industry. The loss was immeasurable. It highlighted a terrifying vulnerability in our increasingly digital lives, the impermanence of data entrusted to third-party platforms. MySpace's downfall is a stark warning. It teaches us about the perils of complacency, the dangers of prioritizing profit over user experience, and the shocking fragility of our digital legacies. To this day, the true scope of what was lost, beyond just music files, remains a mystery. Were there personal messages, photos, untold stories, and other irreplaceable data that also vanished in that catastrophic migration? We may never know. MySpace serves as a haunting reminder of the ephemeral nature of the internet, a digital Pompeii where millions of vibrant lives were once lived, only to be buried by neglect and a single, irreversible error. If you find yourself wondering what else might be hiding in the dark corners of the internet, waiting to be rediscovered, the next video explores the mystery of lost websites and the digital archaeologists trying to bring them back from the brink of oblivion.